Lunchables launched in September of 2024 was arguably the most controversial YouTuber product to ever be announced to the public, coming in the midst of MrBeast controversies with the Ava Chris Tyson and Dogpack 404 situations, and Logan Paul being hated for being the controversial Logan Paul, and KSI being associated with Logan. The launch of Lunchables came at the most inopportune time for this group of 3 creators, not to mention that their announcement stream on Instagram was at the quality of 3 pixels as well.
Lunchables.
Oh, that's
Oh, and the Rizzler was there too.
That's delicioso right there, that's Riz approved.
But yes, Lunchables gets announced, and while the trio thought that they were going to get a mass amount of support on this new business venture, it was actually the complete opposite that either ruined one's reputation with their actions afterwards, or it continued to give critiquers more support in their hatred towards them. So first we got KSI here. He didn't get the most hate out of the 3 right out of the gate, since the other 2's reputations were much worse to the public at that time, but one X post from a certain YouTuber calling out the Lunchables announcements changed the way that people were about to see KSI, as KSI will go mask off in the way that he would subsequently respond to the creator. On the day of Lunchables launch, with the general audience already calling out the product, the very influential Minecraft YouTuber Dan TDM came out and spoke up against the project, saying, "What happened to YouTubers, man? I can't not say anything anymore. This is selling stuff for the sake of making money. Simple. How does this benefit their fans? This is selling crap to kids who don't know better than to trust the people who are selling it to them. Do better." Dan says that, and while at first we don't hear anything out of the 3 criticized entrepreneurs, KSI on the following day actually goes on to respond to Dan directly on X, showing these pieces of Dan TDM merchandise and saying, "Looks like crap to me." People immediately came to Dan's defense and were saying, "Why is KSI bringing up toys when this is more about food entering kids' bodies?" And JJ responded with another X post showing that Dan had promoted unhealthy food in the past and captioned it with, but he was talking about food, JJ. He was sponsored, then promoted and made a whole video on Munchpack, a monthly sub box full of food and candy, to his Minecraft audience full of kids. Now what? And of course, this response by JJ didn't go over well, because Dan making a one-time sponsor ad read for a food item is entirely different and much less criticizable than KSI being one of the main partners in the new Lunchables venture. So now, almost like a whole civil war has started here, but can you even say civil war when something like 90% of the people out there were not fans of Lunchables, and the remaining about 10% or so weren't even in full support of it? They just didn't care to criticize it as much. Anyways, he had other big YouTubers also coming out in defense of Dan TDM, like Jacksepticeye here, posting the screenshot from the original Spider-Man movie saying, "You mess with Dan TDM, you mess with YouTube." KSI will respond to criticism like this in a video titled, "Everybody hates us right now," with Lunchables in the thumbnail.
And then there's a tweet from Jacksepticeye: "You mess with Dan TDM, you mess with YouTube." I mean, that's cringe.
Yeah, dude, cringe. And he immediately follows that in trying to mock Dan TDM's original expos, responds with the terrible expos he had already made, and then also said this:
"Where was the same energy when Ryan Trehan released Sweet? Where was the same energy when FaZe Rog released Sweet? It's because people just hate us." I don't understand why all of a sudden it's a bad thing to have a business. I'm out here trying to level myself up. That's why I got Misfits. That's why I've got Prime. That's why I've got all my Sidemen businesses, XIX, Sides, you know, the list goes on. You know, that's why I'm doing music. That's why I'm releasing a new song, October 4th, thick of it.
Oh yeah, this abomination of a song happened around that time too. KSI, in seeing the amount of hate and interactions that he was getting off of criticizing Dan TDM, he used his attention to promote himself and his upcoming song, Thick of It. Now, this Thick of It song was actually also getting some traction on its own already, when there was a snippet of it going around online where KSI said, "From the screen, to the ring, to the pen, to the king." I'm sure most of you know of it already, I don't gotta actually play the audio. That part of the song was corny enough to be made fun of online, and further put KSI's name through the line of roast. KSI, like I said, realized this, and when in promoting his upcoming Thick of It song, he made sure to use Dan's name multiple times to bring Dan's fans into engaging with his posts. And not only that, but KSI also, in that same but different lane, consistently kept bringing up the Dan TDM situation on his social media posts to basically engagement farm off of Dan's fans, rage bait if you will. He did this multiple ways. Like for instance, here he saw Marcus Brownlee was getting backlash off of a wallpaper product and copied and pasted Dan's "What Happened to YouTubers Man" X post. He also tried to bait addressing the situation to get people to click a link. He showed Dan TDM's logo on a teaser for the music video for The Thick of It. He saw Kai Cenat get a collab with McDonald's and said, "Dan TDM, where you at?" And then just randomly on October 4th, added Dan and said, "Hey yo Dan, why don't you come over to Sidecast? Let's talk this out like men. Now, remember, Dan had only ever put out the original X post and said nothing more in regards to KSI specifically. By the way, KSI kind of still moved on and went on to release more music after the Thick of It, but none had come close to the impact that mentioned song had. Thick of It became this whole viral song and I guess even trend that people made fun of on every social media out there. And KSI, seeing this, reacted to the hate that the song was getting, making it look like he was all mad and sad about the clowning, but in an episode of Impulsive, went on to reveal what he actually thought of it all and how he played with the situation.
I feel like this is a good time for me to tell everyone that I'm actually not pissed because I had a single coming out. I was like, oh my God, I can just use this as a way to market my song. Let me just lean into this and be pissed off, angry, tell people, guys, stop making memes, knowing that they're gonna make more memes.
And as much as I want to say everybody out there with a functioning brain knew that he was faking getting mad just so that more people could talk about this song, I mean, the viralness of it did lead it to some nice success. He had it become a top 10 single, it peaked at number 64 in the Billboard Hot 100, and debuted at number 1 on the US Spotify Viral 100 charts. The song also got a remix with Annalise Choppa too, and another thing in his music venture as well, KSI also baited in hinting that Billie Eilish was in his Dirty song, but it's more than likely just another artist that was unnamed here. But even with this Thick of It success, KSI still found time and continued to diss Dan with all these posts here that you're seeing on the screen. And this wasn't even all. I don't want to be a KSI and drag this out, but he did keep it going. Well, at least there was this one time where he was kind of wholesome to one of Dan's newer posts where Dan had said he was living the dream with his kid here, and KSI said that he was happy for him with his quote reply, but then he just went on to copy and paste it later on, doing some more mockery. But moving on from Dan now, KSI had an interesting year regarding other things, which were not Lunchables related, so we'll just quickly go over it. During a Misfits event in early 2025, KSI had teased that he was going to be fighting the then 44-year-old former football/soccer player Wayne Bridge. The fight did not end up happening though, because during the initial face-off teaser, KSI brought up an alleged affair from an ex-girlfriend that Wayne had that allegedly involved a former teammate of his. Wayne just thought that KSI had taken it too far and called off any potential for a fight. KSI then later was also set to fight Dylan Dennis, but that didn't happen as KSI got sick. But in the boxing world, he still has his Misfits events going on to this day and is still beefing with Jake Paul, even missing out on prime partner Logan's wedding day to avoid any confrontation with the younger Paul brother. KSI had also been a judge for Britain's Got Talent, he had the Simon Charity football match take place, continues to make content for the Sidemen, and has actually dipped his toes in more in doing some IRL streams, while also talking a lot about Baller League. He's turned his original KSI channel into KSI Music, and had turned his JJ Olatunji's second channel into now his main KSI channel, where he's still kind of making the same content, but has also been putting more production value into some of the newer videos. Oh, and he was also put into a WWE 2K25 DLC pack, so he's in that game too, sort of. As for what's next, well, I guess it's the usual things, in addition to a new album potentially coming soon. Now, moving on to KSI's partner in crime, Logan Paul, let's go back to September 2024 again. When Lunchables was getting criticized by the public, Logan tried to come to his defense multiple times on the X platform, but he just kept on getting community noted, and it was an entire battle that he even talked about in a video where he was reacting to KSI's upload, talking about the hate that they were getting.
You don't know anything about this product, and the people that think they know about it still don't know about it. I went to war with community notes the other day. X's regulatory body of truth, but they lie. The whole system is littered with lies because community notes is just it's exactly that. It's a community of contributors contributing what their point of view is, not the truth.
Now, coming back to that Dan TDM post, Logan did have something to say about it as he responded to it on X saying, "I'll tell you what happened to YouTubers. We spend our lives creating content and building our brands. Now we want to build businesses. You don't say anything when Lunchables faces bans for allegedly containing lead, but when we create a better version, you're upset? Then don't eat it." And also spoke on him some more in that aforementioned video.
Imagine being a motherfucker who's angry that we made this. Crackers, bro? You mad cause we made crackers?
These motherfuckers are complaining about a lunchbox. These motherfuckers are complaining about a lunch kit. That's what this whole thing is about. Yeah, they are. Lunch kit.
And not just there, but he also spoke on Dan on Impulsive.
I think we're in a weird spot where tearing people down and hatred and negativity gets way more attention, clicks, and views than the opposite, which is a little sad because like in a world where YouTubers are trying to expand and build businesses, I do feel like there should be a level of support.
Dan TDM, then in November, we'll go on to Tommy Innan and Jack Manifold's podcast to briefly talk about the situation, but that conversation is behind a paywall that we pretty much only right now got a clip out from this KSI News X account.
And maybe with the Lunchables stuff as well, that's probably a similar thing. I was like, this is going too far. Yeah, you can push it to a point, and Logan should really know that if you push something to a point, like you're going to go too far.
You know what I mean? He's had his experience. You think he would have learned, but what we've learned consistently is that he doesn't learn much.
Some additional context too. Logan was beefing with Tommy Innit prior to this podcast due to Tommy calling out Logan having a Prime sponsorship during a section where they were talking about Gaza. But moving from that, now in late October 2024, Logan also had to come out with a green screen video to come at Lunchly's defense. There was a post on Reddit that went viral that said that according to Twitter/X users, various retail stores had recalled Lunchly products due to FDA concerns, then showing a sign at a local Kroger that said that Lunchly was pulled from the shelves. This rubbed Logan the wrong way to the point that he had to make a video defending Lunchly's name.
Somebody typed up and printed out a 100% lie about Lunchly being recalled, taped it to the fridge, then a picture of it was taken by someone else and posted on social media as if it were real. Community notes, where you at? Oh, and I also saw this video.
As of right now, it is believed that all of the Lunchlies are being discontinued in various stores.
Yeah, that's also not true. Turkey Stack'ems are not discontinued. But it's just crazy to me that we're a $4 lunch kit, and in the first 4 weeks, our headquarters had a bomb threat. The FBI has identified the individual. He's based in London, which is crazy because we don't even distribute there. A fabricated FDA recall that never happened. An attention-hungry little clout goblin who has made it her entire identity to speak negatively on all things MrBeast.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about her a little bit later on in this video. Oh, and also another community note on that Logan post. But yeah, dude, during this time too, well, on the day after the initial Lunchly announcement actually, Logan, Jimmy, and JJ, they filmed this promo video for their TikTok, shorts, and reels, and the memers know where I'm gonna go with this one. We got this infamous moments from it.
Drip versus stick. I like my cheese drippy, bruh.
That became a whole meme, in addition to KSI's Stick of It also going on in the meme landscape during this time. But for Logan, even with the memes and apparent Lunchly success in the immediate launch, he still got himself into some controversy regarding Lunchly. Like for instance, when his daughter Esme was about to be born and his wife Nina was in the labor room, Logan made sure to put Prime and Lunchly around the location when capturing the moments leading up to him becoming a father. And in his HBO Max show, Paul American, he did respond to the criticism regarding that.
Yes, I mentioned that I had Lunchly. So what, dude? Off.
But yeah, family-wise, Logan became a father to his newborn daughter Esme and got married to his now wife Nina. And while some issues have been seen in the public eye, all seems well in Logan's new family. Career-wise, Logan has also continued to put in work in the WWE. He still promotes the hell out of Prime, even though there have been multiple reports and videos made on the company's steep decline as of late. And also, he's been uploading vlogs onto his YouTube channel, dropping one about every week or so. So that's that for the Prime dudes there. Now, onto Mr. Feastables himself, Jimmy Donaldson, aka MrBeast. Going back to when Lunchly was initially getting flamed online, MrBeast responded to the criticism with a reply to the Drama Alert X account that basically ended up just looking like an ad for the Lunchly product, as Jimmy just talked about its, I guess, benefits compared to the Lunchables competitor. Either way, people did not like this response from Jimmy, especially since he was also under huge scrutiny at the time for the Ava Chris Tyson situation, even though he had already let her go from the company, and more recently, perhaps an even bigger scandal, the Dogpack 404 videos. Dogpack being a former MrBeast employee that made a couple of uploads that quote exposed MrBeast and being a fraud and sociopath that reached tens of millions of viewers. At this point, MrBeast had been quiet online for the most part, which we'll eventually find out was due for legal reasons and recommendations, but MrBeast broke that silence in responding to criticism with his reply here to Drama Alert, which then had Jimmy kind of basically come back online. He kept uploading his YouTube videos, of course now promoting Lunchly too.
It was good. Fire.
Okay, bro. Well, November came around, and in regards to the aforementioned controversies, MrBeast released a statement on X saying that the 3-month investigation into the allegations regarding his company had concluded, and that the conclusion of it was that basically they were found innocent, but that changes were still going to be made in the company at the corporate and staff level. You can make your own judgment off of that, but that's what happened. At this time, MrBeast still had a lot of the internet not being on his side still, but this one video came out from this YouTuber named Soggy Cereal that changed a lot of the perspective against MrBeast. Soggy Cereal, for the past weeks and months presumably, had been working on this hour-and-a-half long video that completely debunked the vast majority of points that Dogpack had made against MrBeast in his videos. MrBeast sees this and starts sharing it to a bunch of the commentary channels out there, and eventually hops onto Umpaville's channel to finally break his silence on Dogpack 404 and everything else going on regarding him and his company.
Are you going to sue Dogpack?
There's tons of examples of him intentionally manipulating things to not be true and posting it online, caused a lot of harm to my businesses. It's just unfortunate. Like, I don't want to be put in this situation, but probably gonna have to.
Okay, so yes.
They're not done drafting it up, but once they're done, more than likely, yeah. Every law firm I've talked to, they're like, this would be the easiest win they've ever seen in their life. One person I was talking to, he's won like 67 out of his last 70 cases, and he's like, This would be literally the easiest case I've ever done.
There's still other things that are criticizable of MrBeast during this point, like when CoffeeZilla still wanted to get to the bottom of some crypto NFT stuff that MrBeast and co got involved in, but that's gone laid on the back burner, at least for now. MrBeast still went on to receive backlash for countless of other things on the X platform, and let's just go over some of them. Like, there was this one clip where it sounded like he said that life is so much easier when you're broke, but that was easily disproven. He got criticism for helping out other countries and not helping out once in the US. He also got criticism for the way he went about making a video on the Mexican temples, even though it was all approved by governmental entities. Then there were also pages saying that the wells he built out in other countries weren't functioning anymore, but in reality they still are, and MrBeast proved it, and has now even started to consider to start suing pages like that blatantly just throw out lies like that. Oh, and he also had an AI thumbnail generation type feature be added to his ViewStat service that instantly got knocked online, even having Jacksepticeye speak out against it. MrBeast saw the backlash and immediately revoked that new feature and has replaced it with a page where you can commission thumbnail artists. During this AI thumbnail generation controversy, Dan TDM also came out and spoke up against practices of what MrBeast originally had with the AI stuff, but not everything that MrBeast did was met with criticism. I mean, he did do a bunch of other stuff too throughout all of this that was notable, like he had his Beast Game show perform pretty well on Prime Video, where the winner actually went on to receive $10 million. Spoiler alert, but come on, it's been like about a year now, I think everybody knows. And that was the largest cash prize ever given out on a TV show. And Beast Games, that has now been renewed for his second and third season as well. He's also launching MrBeast Lab, which is an animated show in October. He collabed with Cristiano Ronaldo, started up MrBeast Gaming again, and is also uploading extra content on his second channel. He had also hit 400 million subscribers on his main channel, and in his personal life, got engaged to his now fiancée Thea, and as of most recently, he launched Team Water, which is a fundraising campaign where he had the goal of providing clean drinking water for millions of people over decades, in which he reached that goal of $40 million in the same month that he launched it in August. A big help in that was when MrBeast had made an official Kick account and streamed himself, Wade, and Ross in XQC, raising over $12 million in a single stream that lasted a little under a day. Of course, he still got some hate for this, but I mean, what are you gonna do? I guess just keep making products for Feastables, like the now newly launched chocolate milk. Alright, now the final section of this video, just some other things I want to bring up regarding Lunchly. Fall of 2024 was an interesting one, as it spawned the now infamous combination of memes where one would be eating Lunchly and drinking Prime as they were watching the Talk To podcast, while KSI Stick of It would be playing in the background. Tons of memes came out of this, with even Haley Welch getting into it.
I like my cheese drippy, bruh.
And as Logan would say, this was very beneficial for everyone involved.
I like my cheese drippy,
I like
bruh.
my cheese drippy, bruh.
They do whatever they want. You can try to control it, but at some point you just gotta sit back and watch it all unfold.
Although Lunchly got plenty of criticism with MrBeast, I guess she's one of his arch nemesis now, Rosanna Pansino. She had a viral video come out where she was reviewing Lunchly, and it came out moldy.
This is molded. That's mold. This is not safe. I saw a picture circulating about mold, but I didn't know if it was fake or, you know, I just had heard about it, but this is real, you guys.
And as we have already seen, Logan clapped back at her, and she still doesn't like any of MrBeast or anything related to him. There was also this other video that went viral that analyzed MrBeast, Logan, and KSI on their Impulsive podcast episode together, and the interesting thing about this analytical video was that it got about 6 to 7 times more views, millions of more views as well, than the original Impulsive podcast episode. And yeah, as for Lunchly, that's about it for that. I don't know how good they're doing in sales as their data is not public, but if the recent reports on Prime's numbers are accurate in showing their sales are declining at an alarming rate since their inception, then it wouldn't surprise me if Lunchly follows that kind of same fate. Even with new products launching, me as a YouTuber, I'm kind of rooting for them as I find these creator products pretty interesting, but things don't seem as bright as they did before. But yeah, that'll be the end of this video. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you in another one.
Billie Eilish?